So tonight we're going to answer the question, what happens when you wake up early in the morning, you walk out into your living room, and you find a snake in your living room? That's like a nightmare. And to help answer this question, today I am joined with a good friend of mine, Trapper Jeff Norris. What's up, Jeff?
Not much, Joe. How about you?
I can't complain yet. Jeff, you're the owner of Nuisance Wildlife Recovery? Removal, sorry.
Yep. 21 years at it.
So you've been catching wildlife, going after snakes and all those other critters for 21 years.
That's correct.
I give you credit. You're more of a man than I am at this point in time.
Yeah, I remember you calling me about the mountain lion.
There was a mountain lion. We'll get into that story later. But we're going to ask a bunch of questions today because, listen, a lot of people come into the gun shop and they're looking to purchase, either rat shot for their 22, which I'm not a huge fan of, or just little 22 guns, little 410 shotguns, or the judges or the governors, stuff like that, so they can shoot these critters, wildlife, whatever it's not supposed to be in their house or in their yards.
There's a lot of people that go that route.
But there are legal issues with that. And one you just let me know before we even came on the air tonight, about shooting on your property.
Yeah, Florida statute says you should be 500 feet from a roadway or conveyance before discharging a firearm on a animal. Some other legal things that can crawl up is if you don't kill the animal and you only maim it, animal cruelty charges can kick in. And trust me, people love their animals. Sometimes I think
they love animals more than people.
They do. I agree. I think you can get by more with your kids at times than you can with animals. But yeah, they will prosecute you, and you're the devil in the neighborhood, and it becomes a large problem legally sometimes for these people because they just didn't know.
What happens if you live 500 feet away, or where you're shooting 500 feet away from the roadway, but you're near somebody else's house?
Well,
is there a distance on houses?
Yeah, that's under the conveyance.
Under the conveyance, okay.
Yeah, just
want to make sure.
And a conveyance could be a porta pot. I mean, anything that can conceal a human inside of it, a pole barn, anything of that sort.
So pretty much anywhere like the Lakewood Ranch area and all this stuff, you need Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, in the city limits, Bradenton. You can't shoot.
No, you can't. And you shouldn't, because, like I said, if you only maim it, you could end up causing a wild animal to go into someone else's yard, and an injured animal is a whole lot worse to deal with than a nuisance animal.
True. I look at it from the point is they miss and it goes into the neighbor's house and down the road or wherever it's going to go.
Oh yeah, there's always that too. I mean, there's a time and place for euthanasia and doing it in a matter that is concurrent with the American Veterinarian Association guidelines. But we run into this all the time, even with people that go down to the feed store, buy a trap a raccoon, and they're like, oh, well, I trapped it. Now what do I do with it? It's like, you don't have a plan? No, ain't got a plan. So you're going to load it in the back of your Lexus and take it down the road and let it go. And when you get down the road, you find out the raccoon somehow got out of a trap and has tore the back of your Lexus apart and peed and pooped. And so, yeah, it's always to have the whole game plan together before you start the project.
That's good advice. But if you're like me, I'd rather hire you.
Well, and a lot of people do. I mean, I wouldn't have business if they didn't. And a lot of people realize that their specialty is not, wildlife removal. And what's always funny is when the wife calls you out because the husband failed miserably.
That would be, listen, I come from New Jersey. We had animals up there. Most of them were just two-legged.
Right.
We didn't have to deal with stuff down here kills you.
Some of it can. We're very subtropic, so nothing dies. We don't get a hard enough freeze for them to freeze to death during the winter, so nothing really dies.
So I wasn't used to it when I moved down here. We'll get into it. The snake being in the living room or anything like that. If I walked into the woods, I really didn't have to worry about, especially where I was at. There was no gators. I didn't have to worry about that if I was by a lake. So if you went fishing, go fishing. Go stand in the lake. It doesn't matter. Um, we had bear if we were up in northern Jersey. Um, I saw one once in 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
But down here, it's like you go on a walk in just high grass, you're in trouble. Or
Oh
could
yeah.
be.
We have 4 venomous snakes here in this area of Florida: pygmy rattler, diamondback rattler, the water moccasin, and the coral snake. Those are the 4 venomous species we have here. And just this week, we had a snake call. Now, mind you, that 90% of the calls that we get for snakes are non-venomous. They're
Still a snake.
we call it the panic call. But we all have our fears. So it's when we got there, we got to the point of no return, and we're dealing with a rattlesnake, and had to call a licensed person out there for venomous snakes, because I'm not going to go get my venomous license, and
Yeah,
to handle it.
I don't want to play with venomous snakes.
I don't either.
Non-venomous snakes, worms.
There's just so many stuff here. I mean, it's last night I got a call for a bat in a house, and we're in an area that I never thought bats would be. It's just crazy. You never know what to expect.
No, it keeps things exciting for us. Keeps you employed.
It does. I love my job. I love getting up every morning. I don't think there's anything else I'd rather do. It's a great job, and it is different it's different every hour. It can change by the minute.
Now, I have a simple question. A lot of people that come in, a lot of people text us, they ask us questions about things like this. And one thing that comes up a lot, and that's what we're going to answer all these questions tonight, hopefully: raccoons.
Okay. What do you want to know about them?
You got a raccoon getting in your garbage around your house, tearing everything up, maybe even gets in your garage.
Yep.
That happened to my grandmother recently down here. What do you do in a situation like that?
Well, I mean, raccoons are vector carrier of rabies, so you always want to be careful around them. Some of the bigger dangers that people don't realize with raccoons is they carry leptospirosis. So if you read in papers, that's a huge thing right now in Puerto Rico. People are getting very sick and dying from lepto, and this is contained in raccoons' feces. So if you leave food out for your pets, or your pets are in the yard and stuff, they really need to be vaccinated against lepto. I think the lepto stuff is probably more prevalent than rabies at this point in raccoons around here.
So you definitely wouldn't suggest people leave their cat food out in the backyard.
No, don't feed. I mean, here's the long and short of it: bird feeders, everything. You have to again have a game plan. If you're going to go and attract the birds are going to attract rodents, the rodents are going to attract snakes. The snakes are, raccoons are going to come in for the food too. Bird feeders are just a bad idea, to be honest with you. Now, I know everybody loves watching the birds come in and stuff. So you have a choice: either diligent about cleanup of your bird seed that's on the ground, or you don't have it. But I'll tell you this: bird feeders have been very good to me over the years.
So we should promote bird feeders for you.
They're very, it's amazing.
So if you have something like that, they can call you.
Yep.
You will come in, and what do you do at that point in time?
Usually, depending, there's different ways of handling situations with raccoons. It can be habitat modification. It can be removing food sources, or, in the last case, it's, trapping and removal. Somebody has a koi pond and raccoons keep killing the kois. You got 2 choices there: either get rid of a koi pond, or start trapping the raccoons out.
So you just don't go on property and start shooting raccoons?
No.
Okay, that's what people think. But you do have and we can get into that in the next segment, you do have firearms for certain things, or tranquilizer guns.
We have a
But
lot of stuff that's governed under ATF for use of either euthanizing, chemical immobilization, or scare tactics.
yeah, yeah, you're a professional at what you do. You're not just going to walk in there with a gun and start shooting like people that come into the shop are looking for.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
unsafe.
it is.
Even if you have rat shot and a gun and you shoot it off in your garage at a snake, um, you're gonna have little pieces of concrete flying up. You're gonna have a nice ding in your floor. In fact, I was talking to a
Nice thing in
friend.
a car.
Yeah, in a car. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I won't mention no names, but he was telling me his wife shot a 38 with rat shot, and now he has a big hole in his garage floor where it took
Oh,
the
jeez.
concrete out. So, and it's like there's always been stuff in the paper. I've never seen it happen, but people will shoot armadillos with 22s and it ricochet off and hit them. They got some armor, And the other thing is, if
Hence
you,
their name.
I'm sorry,
Hence their name.
yeah, armadillo, exactly. And then you have to worry about if you shoot something with a 22 or whatnot. Like I said, running off, dying a slow, ugly death. Which some people are okay with that. I'm not. I think
No,
the
it's
animals should be
get it
treated
over with
humanely.
quick. It
Right.
wasn't their fault they're there. Listen, when we return, we're going to finish this conversation, and I'm going to tell you about the first time I had to call Jeff to come out for me. We'll be back in a minute. And we're back. This is Joe. I am joined by my friend Jeff Norris tonight, and we were talking wildlife.
Lots of wildlife in Florida.
There are definitely lots of wildlife down here. And the big thing came up because we have a lot of customers that come in. A lot of people always ask me about they have wildlife in their yard, all this stuff, how to get rid of it. They want to buy guns for it. And as much as I want to sell them guns and all that stuff, I'd rather them do things the right way and call a professional to come out there and take care of it. We don't want people just shooting guns off in their property, missing, ricocheting, all this other stuff. And as you said in the first segment, somebody was put a hole in their garage floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not what we're looking for. Let's go over the first story. The first time I ever had to call Jeff was for a mountain lion
It wasn't a mountain lion.
in the shop. It was a mountain lion.
It was not a mountain lion.
It was close enough to a mountain lion.
It was a juvenile rat.
Okay, I'll give you that one. But listen, it's 5 something in the morning. I come into the shop early. My eyes still aren't open all the way, and I wake up early, but it takes me a while to actually get going. So I walk into the shop. I go to make a pot of coffee. I turn the coffee machine on. We got a drawer underneath the coffee pot that keeps the coffee, the filters, and all that stuff. And as I open up the drawer, this mountain lion jumps out at me.
The juvenile rat.
Okay, it was a baby little Mickey Mouse that came after me.
Happens a lot.
Of course, I searched for this thing like you wouldn't believe. I couldn't find it because he was more afraid of me than I was of. Okay, maybe the other way around, but couldn't find it. So I called a professional to come in and take care of the situation for me. I had happened once to me when I was in Iraq in my little CHU, it's a little containerized housing unit. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I heard the noise, and it was a little rat in my container. I did catch him.
By hand?
Yep.
Hand-to-hand combat?
Pretty much, I won that one.
Did you use your K-bar?
No, I smashed them. You know those old games? Remember the hit the gopher, whatever it was at the
Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole. That's it.
Whack-a-mole.
I played that, and it was disgusting. But I won. And the reason I was so afraid then was like what you said in the first segment, because it happened to other people I was with over there. They would have mice and rats that would come into their containers, and within 24 hours, now they're snakes.
Yeah. Conex boxes, they're very unique.
Yes. Yeah, there was a little Fix-A-Foam. Fixed a lot for me at that point in time.
Yeah.
I was buying it by the case.
And that's the worst thing you can use, really. That stuff's weather stripping. It's not rat proofing.
No. That was an area I couldn't get anything else.
Should call me. Shipped you some.
So let's talk about some other things. So they have a mouse. What do? They call you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with the raccoons, leptos also, in rodents. You have to treat, the areas and do cleanup and stuff. You just want to be healthy. As far as capturing rats and stuff, that's one thing we do euthanize is rats. We have that special occasion where we have a customer that just, their religious beliefs or their heart won't allow that to happen.
PETA.
Not so much PETA. I don't want to get into religions and stuff, but there's some religions out there. I think we all know what they are, and
Sure.
and they believe everything should live, and that's fine. I teach their own, but we don't like to do that because of the spread of disease. Remember the rats brought the bubonic plague and everything else to fruition. So we don't want that type of stuff being transferred and that type of thing. We basically have 3 types of rodents here, without getting into squirrels and stuff, but rats. We have the house mouse, which is some people call the field mouse. Not very common. Micah City, way out in Fruitville, had a couple cases in Parrish, not in the cities. Roof rat, most common. Rattus rattus. It is by far the most common one. Those are found in attics. Some people call them the citrus rat. Some people call them the palm rat, fruit rat. It's all rattus rattus, the roof rat. That's their technical
Are they all
name.
small like that? Because where I come from, up in New Jersey, the rats look like alley cats. They were big.
Yeah, you get some old bull rats that get some pretty good size to them, but for the most part, they're not very big. Now, and then the third type is Rattus norwegius, which is the Norway rat. They're a little bigger breed, mostly found in little pockets around like St. Armand Circle and coastal areas.
I've seen them down there before.
They're hard. They're tough. They're tough to trap and get rid of.
Now here's another one. We have a lot of people, farmers that come here and just cattle ranchers, all that stuff. And big complaint that they have anymore. They've always complained about the boar, but now they're having coyote problems.
Coyotes are bad. Until and hopefully somebody from Fish and Wildlife's listening to this. Until Fish and Wildlife starts loosening up on these padded foothold permits where we can catch them, it's going to get worse. I talked to one of the Fish and Wildlife biologists the other day, and they suggested that we use paintballs to scare them.
Scare.
And sometimes I won't get into a bunch of this because I just, I've been doing this 21 years. They've been on the job 6 months. I shake my head and go back to the customer and tell them what they say. And
we've been calling Fish and Wildlife all week. I'm trying to get an answer from them. Actually, I want them to come on the show to talk about a few things, but more along the lines of people that are hunting, fishing, and stuff like that, and the open carry, and how they handle these situations. But we've got nothing. Not a response to the email, not a return phone call, nothing.
Yeah.
Which I don't find shocking.
No, and when I asked them about the permit the other day, he said, "Well, if something goes bad with the permit, then we're in the media, like, we issued the permit." I'm like, so if the guy pulls his 300 blackout out of his closet and goes to shoot this coyote, because in one neighborhood that's what was happening, people were threatening to shoot it, and he shoots a 300 blackout and it goes to 2 homes because he is a crappy shot.
It happens.
I told them, I said, trust me, I'll be the first one at the media telling them that you didn't issue the permit and that this is the reason this happened. I have to work with Fish and Wildlife, and 99% of them, all the officers are great. Just some of the biologists just amaze me at times.
They're there for a different reason.
They are. And I understand protecting animals and stuff, but getting back to your thing with boars and ranchers and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that people don't think about with ranchers and farmers. Armadillos. Horse steps in a hole, man. Break a leg on a horse from an armadillo hole.
Never thought about that.
even gopher tortoises, which are hugely protected. So talking about people coming in here to buy guns to take care of nuisance problems in an urban environment, and then talking about taking care of guns in a very country environment, we'll say, two different worlds. You have ranchers, but I I hope the ranchers take out as many coyotes as they can.
Well, they're trying, but they have some of them that come in here thousands of acres,
Right.
some of them a couple hundred acres, but that's still they have nothing around them.
Right.
And the other ranches around them, they all get together and do this all at the same time, and they all shoot towards the same direction to make sure everybody's safe.
It's expensive too. I mean, you're pulling out rifles that guys are using for sniper rifles in the military and throwing thermal on them and stuff. I know a couple guys that hunt thermal.
Oh, I know a few.
Yeah. Any ranchers that want some coyote removed, I always, I've got a couple guys that I trust very much. They've been on several ranches for me, and they've taken out lots of coyotes, and be more than glad they just like shooting the coyotes, so they don't charge, and it ends up being a good deal.
Here's a good time. How do people get in touch with you?
You can go to wildlifetrapper.com. That's our main website. Or you can call 941-729-2103.
Can they call any time of the day?
Anytime,
24/7?
24/7. If it's after hours, you got to hit the emergency button, which I'm not even familiar with what one it is, but just call through as the emergency, and it'll ring the on-call cell phone.
You're talking about calibers and all that. I had an interesting conversation the other day. Person that they go hiking a lot in the woods and up north of this area, up north of Sarasota, Bradenton area. Actually, next trip they're going is in the Carolinas somewhere. And big concern is A, other crazy hikers out there, but B, bear. Not that you're dealing with bear, but they were talking about using a 22 or a 9mm just to scare the bear away.
How about 4570 government?
That's what I'd be looking for. I want the biggest thing I can strap to my hip.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much experience with bears, and I know that a lot of actually my girlfriend's son, he hikes a lot out west, out of California and stuff, and they're not even allowed to bring guns into the parks. So they're real big on carrying fire extinguisher size bear spray.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm. We have some bear. There's been bears sighted up in Twin Rivers, up in Parrish.
They're around. I'm 100% sure they're around. I mean, you go towards the center of the state. I mean, there's nothing out there.
No.
Perfect environment for them.
Panthers, getting a lot more panther. What's really cool is here in Florida, a lot of stuff's starting to come back. Panthers, more bears.
Big snakes.
Big snakes.
That we're not supposed to have.
That's who you should have on here, is that guy Al Mayaka that does the python hunting. He would be interesting.
No, but I just don't want to talk about snakes the whole time.
Oh, he's cool.
I'd have nightmares all day. So listen, we're going to have to take another break. But as soon as we return, we're going to talk more about what to do with the snakes. And another situation I had in real life. This time I was afraid to call Jeff because he was going to pick on me. Like the mountain lion.
Mountain lion.
But we'll tell you that story as soon as we return. We'll get more into what to do when you come across these animals.
Cool.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Again, I am Joe, and I am joined tonight by Jeff Norris. And we've been talking about, coyote, boar, armadillos, all kinds of different critters that you might come across and how to handle them properly. Again, I suggest just calling a professional like yourself, Jeff.
A lot of times it's easier and cheaper in the long run.
Yes. I just don't want to deal with it. Like you said, I never thought about what you're going to do with the animal afterwards.
Nobody does.
You don't just throw it in the garbage can.
No, people just don't think that out a lot. That's a big problem. We get a lot of calls that people call us and like, hey, I trapped this animal. Will you come get it? Yeah, we'll come get it. And we charge them a fee for coming to get it. It's not as much as if we had to set the trap and everything, obviously, but
you have to. This is your living.
It is. It's a business. People don't understand, and that's something we'll get into a little bit later. Is the stuff that we have to make it a business.
Very important. So if they're don't just hire somebody we'll get into that later. Just don't hire anybody off the street to come and do this stuff. Make sure they're the right person for the job, the right business.
So, Joe, I got a question for you.
Oh, you got a question for me? Now I'm
Yeah.
being interviewed.
So, if you the farmer's coming in wanting to, do some coyote removal, what's your where would you steer him? Would you steer him to a bolt action, an AR platform? What caliber?
Most of what we do here in our experience with the farmers have been they want an AR platform because a lot of them have their bolt actions already.
Right.
But they just want to be able to shoot multiple rounds quickly.
Yeah.
So most of them, the ones that we have coming in here, we're more of a tactical shop anyway. We don't deal with hunting. I've never been hunting before in my life. I have no desire to.
Oh, we're gonna take you hunting one time.
I don't look down at it at all. It's just
You're scared. I get it. You're scared.
no, it's where I came from. You got to remember, everybody wanted to hunt up there. I had a lot of friends and family that hunted all the time, and it's they want to go sit out in the woods. They want to get out there at 3 o'clock in the morning, sit in a tree stand when it's 8 degrees outside if you're lucky.
So you would rather go to another place in the world, live in a Connex box with the heat and dust, and hunt people?
Oh, that's much more fun. I can deal with two-legged critters all day long. I can track them. I can do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's hunting. I hunt, I fish, but I really feel that I'm a huge steward of our environment. I don't, so many people I know just are not good stewards. They say they're hunters, they say they're good stewards, and you go out with them and it's a one-time shot because I'll never go back just because of their actions and stuff. Comes from making sure that you lock the gates, pick up your trash, take only what you're going to take and eat, um, shoot things illegally and stuff.
Now, boar is a little different. That's just a nuisance animal.
But boars are a nuisance. They are. And, we trap a lot of those. We don't really shoot a whole lot of them. We trap them, and we have a thing worked out with a place now called Freedom Gathering. They feed a bunch of homeless people. So we take the boars, the hogs, I won't say boars because they're sows too. We'll be taking them out to a processing plant, USDA processing plant, having them butchered up for them and made into sausage and different things, and donating them back to Freedom Gathering.
That's awesome. I know you brought some for me.
Yep.
And I think I ate some of it. I know I ate some of it the other day for breakfast.
It's good stuff.
I threw some eggs on top of it. It was amazing.
Getting back to the thing, coyote hunting, I really prefer bolt action because you're probably not going to get more than one shot off at a coyote. Maybe, but usually not. I prefer a 243.
That's an awesome round for it.
I love a 243. A 243 is just big enough and it's flat enough. And it'll just pop through little weeds if it has to.
I mean, the experience I've had with our ranch owners, whatever you want to call them, that come in here looking for the guns for that, they're in the beginning more worried about the boar.
Yeah.
Than they were coyotes. Coyotes, I guess, have just gained in popularity recently.
Well, they're starting to take calves and different things, and it's costing these ranchers, hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes, on these bigger ranches.
These guys, and most of the time they go with a 300 blackout.
Yep, a little more weight.
A lot more weight, more punch, takes it down with one shot quickly. And their reason behind a lot of it, too, is they're not shooting beyond 75 yards.
Right.
100 yards would be a really long shot for them because they're being responsible. Even though they organize everything with their neighbors and everything what direction they're shooting in, they just don't want no mistakes to happen.
So
there's a lot on the line.
When you're out at night shooting wild pigs or, whatnot, coyotes or whatever, do you sell a lot of the 5-round magazines for that? Because the law says you can only have 5 rounds in a gun while hunting. And it doesn't really apply to the pigs and stuff, but it's kind of like if you're out hunting with a spotlight, you better have some pigs in the back of a truck. Because, if not, then you're deer hunting, know. And it's a very fine line there that those officers have to investigate and make a determination on. But do you sell a lot of those 5-round mags?
A few, not a lot.
Yeah, I picked one up just so I'd have one.
It's good to have. I'm looking on the wall right now. I don't see any up there. But it's also that season, summertime, everything slows down for us in the
Yeah.
firearms industry. But
So
yeah, I mean, they definitely got to have the 5 round mags. Don't get jammed up out there.
yeah, I guess that's what I'm kind of saying is it's better to go and have a 5 round mag in your gun so you're not getting jammed up.
Yeah.
You know, that whole thing of it's better to ask for forgiveness and ask for permission doesn't apply to um, FWC.
No.
Them guys, love them. They do a great job. Their job is very dangerous. They don't have any backup or anything. But I want to tell you what, they don't play around. You know, them guys put people in jail for poaching and stuff, and as they should. And have a lot of respect for them.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's now. Here's a question. I'm not going to like to talk about it, but I actually do have an experience with it here.
Okay.
What do you do when you wake up or whatever? You're in your house and you find that your house is also being occupied by a snake.
Okay. So snakes, like I said earlier, only got 4 venomous: the coral, the pygmy rattler, the diamondback rattler, and the water moccasin. Could those snakes be in your house? They could. I don't think I've gotten anything out past of a garage with those types of snakes. You know, nothing in the living area.
Do they just respect your boundaries by not coming into your house?
They're usually those, except for the coral, they're so fat they don't get into places like the ringnecks and the king snakes and the black racers. I mean, number one call was black racer. I went and got one today. It was 4.5 feet long. It was on a lanai. The guy says, I've gotten 3 out of a lanai, but this one was a little aggressive. And he basically knew his limits. And I applaud him for that because he stopped and called a professional and I came out. I got it. What really impressed me about this guy was this. I asked him if he wanted me to take it, and he goes, no, I want you to put it out behind my house in the woods. But can you tell me how it got on my lanai? And I said, yeah. It's, and it's something everybody should look at. If you got a lanai, pool cage, whatever, if you got a screen door on it, look at the bottom for the rubber seal. What do they call that? I can't think of the name now.
I have no clue.
Door sweep. Door sweep.
There you go.
Check the door sweep on the bottom because 9 times out of 10, that's how they get in.
Oh, yeah.
Free advice there.
My first house when I moved down here, they were building a big neighborhood next to our neighborhood. And next thing you know, I was finding the pygmy rattlers in my lanai, in my garage, everything. Yeah. Not a fan of those at all.
Pygmies are, and they got
not
attitude.
Big.
No, they're not big.
So that's a little guy trying to prove a point.
It is. But let's go back to the non-venomous snakes that you're going to find in your house. Here's one thing that I learned early on in this business. I had a guy working for me, kind of a buddy, just hanging out, riding with me and stuff. And we caught a corn snake in an apartment complex, and there was a bunch of kids there. So he's kind of a jokester. So he gets the snake out and he starts, holding on to the tail of it and doing his best Steve Irwin impression.
No.
This snake jumps up and bites him on his left forearm.
Oh,
no big deal. It's not venomous, right? So I told him, I said, go out, make sure you wash that out with some peroxide or alcohol. It's on the truck. But yeah, okay. 2 days later, he calls me and says, Jeff, I got to go to the hospital. I'm like, why you got to go to the hospital? He goes, there's an egg on my arm where that snake bit me. And I said, really, that bad? He goes, yeah. So I actually went over to his house. I said, yeah, you need to go. And I had to lance it and stuff. Those snakes' mouths are the dirtiest thing on earth, probably. I mean, you got to remember, they're eating rats, they're eating cockroaches, they're eating all the stuff. Yeah. And, he got a bad infection on that, had to take an IV antibiotic. It was crazy over a little non-venomous snake.
Yeah. It's not
worth it.
I don't want to touch them. Now, if somebody finds them in their house or found one in their house, you'll definitely come in there and take it out.
Yep. And a lot of times they get it behind cabinets or stuff, and we have snake traps that we can leave. And
snake traps?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Now, will you also go through their house and tell them, hey, this is probably how it's getting in? I recommend, and with rats and stuff like that as well. Yep.
We can offer exclusion services, most times, like I said, it's a door sweep or something, or a bad threshold. Stuff that they can fix. Like this guy today, he had both of his door sweeps were bad. And, he's like, well, can you fix that? I said, you don't want me to, because of my service call,
Mhm.
I have to run to Home Depot and get stuff. I said, he goes, well, I can do it. I said, all right. Yes, it's
Yeah, it's
not
as
big.
simple.
It is.
Even I can do that quickly.
Yeah.
I can. Um, but that's good because a lot of people, again, they come in because they want to shoot these things in their house, and I'm like, really? And
Yeah. Nothing good comes from.
and I do have a story about this. And folks, let me tell you something. I do not like snakes at all. I don't want to be anywhere near them. If I know it's over there, that's fine. It can stay there. It's not going to bother me. But my always thing is, they scare the crap out of me.
How tall are you?
I'm like 6'4".
6'4". What do you
Yeah,
weigh?
I'm about 290.
290, 6'4". And you're scared of snakes.
I don't like earthworms. It's just anything without arms and legs freaks me out.
You're a
If it
big
has arms
man.
and legs, whatever, I'll go after it.
You gotta see this guy. He's bald headed,
You
tattooed
can
up,
watch us
big
on
old
video
head.
right now. They can go on our
Oh,
Facebook page, YouTube channel, and watch it right after the show.
there you go.
Listen, we got another break. I'm going to tell you my story, and then we got some other cool things from Jeff here. So we'll be back in a minute. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Like I promised, I'm going to tell you the story what happened to me one day. This is after the mountain lion incident, and Jeff was making fun of me, and it's like the shop joke. I was home one day. I live in a townhouse. I was on the second floor. I come downstairs. Again, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. There's no real lights on in the house. I'm half awake. And in my, I guess, going out towards my garage, I have my computer bag sitting on the floor. It's all tile floor and all that. And again, remember, folks, I'm half awake. I pick up my computer bag to go to work, to leave the house, and there's a snake under the bag,
Did you scream?
like a little schoolgirl. Neighbors came over. No, I'm only kidding. I think I was too tired to scream, but it threw me back. I jumped. I had to go upstairs and change. I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, what do I do? And I'm like, what would Jeff do in this situation? And I did. You did come to mind. And I was like, I can't call Jeff 5 o'clock in the morning. He will never stop making fun of me.
Probably not.
Probably not. So I did the next manliest thing possible.
You got a broom.
Nope.
Shovel?
Remember, I did shovels before, old house. I'm a neat Nick clean freak. I went and got my Swifter because that's the only thing I could find.
Not the Dyson.
Not the Dyson. And I actually trapped it or pinned its head down onto the floor. And I sat there. Now what do I do?
No plan.
No real plan. But it was not big, folks. I'm not gonna lie. It was maybe a foot. It's probably a baby snake. I don't even know what kind it was.
So
It
you
was
grabbed
black.
it and threw it outside?
Yes.
With your bare hands?
No.
You had gloves?
No, I had a little napkin.
Napkin? I'm still pretty proud of you.
And again, I didn't know what the heck to do. I'm sitting there. So I just picked it up. I didn't want to kill it. I wanted to, but after talking to Jeff and all that, there was no need to kill it. And if it was just a black snake, they're good for the environment.
They are. They're very
So
good.
I just picked it up by its tail like an idiot. And now I'm thinking about this guy getting bit. I pick it up. I walk out the front door. I throw it in one of the bushes. Pretty much told him if he's not paying rent, he can't stay here. It's been pretty good since.
Well, that's good. You can always call me. 5 o'clock. It's okay.
I appreciate that because you 24-hour service.
I am.
Now,
I am.
here's a question. I want to know about the rumor, the big rumor. Do mothballs work?
No. Well, okay. I'm going to say this. I was at a house. It was so bad with rats. And I'll just make this a real quick thing. They had chewed through the cabinet doors to get to medication. They had chewed holes in the carpet to get under doors. There was holes in the above the curtains from where they through the drywall from where they were coming. You couldn't walk in this house without stepping on a piece of rat feces.
Ew.
There was one closet that had nothing in it. It was full of mothballs. But grant you, when I opened that door, I felt like I needed to go get a self-contained breathing apparatus because it was that strong. And that's one of the problems with mothballs and naphthalene. And
It is a poison.
I don't think it's a poison. It's just a respiratory irritant. I had a lady that her handyman, you gotta love handyman, threw about 6 boxes up in her attic. I went to the door. Of course, it didn't get rid of what she needed. So I went to the door. I opened the door. It floored me. the ladies in respiratory distress. We have to call an ambulance and everything else because of mothballs. We ended up having to put respirators on, go upstairs, and pick mothballs out of the attic.
Yes, I had that happen to my grandmother. We didn't have to take her to the hospital and all that, but she kept feeling really bad. Why? And she was complaining about not being able to breathe. She was always dizzy, blah, 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 blah. I go to her house, and it pretty much knocked me out when I smelled the mothballs when I walked in.
Oh, yeah.
And we took her out, and 5 minutes later, we're in the car. She goes, "Oh, I feel better now."
Yeah,
And
you just need fresh air, you know.
yeah,
So mothballs, no. And mothballs is a sensory irritant to certain types of snakes. Like snake away, Viprox snake away is the chemical naphthalene, which is the active ingredient in old-fashioned mothballs.
I heard it doesn't work.
It does.
Does it?
Snake away works. We got some better stuff now, but snake away is okay.
Okay. Now, a couple things we're going to talk about. If somebody goes to hire somebody to get rid of a snake, whatever it is, in their house, on their property, they shouldn't just go hire any Tom, Dick, or Harry down the street that wants to do it for side money because they don't mind playing with snakes.
No, so here's a story on that. I had a customer that called us and wanted to know if we were insured and so on and so forth. And I said I was. And it was to trap some armadillos, which really blew my mind because people don't usually want a copy of your insurance to trap armadillos. So I go out, and of course, you know, I have this mind that makes my mouth opens, and I don't have a big filter at times.
That's me.
And I asked her, I'm like, why? Gotta know why. Gotta know why. It's driving me nuts. I gotta know why you want this stuff. And what happened was a guy that was doing some trapping for her stepped in a hole on her property and broke his leg. Well, with that being said, he turns around and sues her homeowner's insurance because he was not properly insured for his business because he was exempt. Folks, exempt means this. Exempt means he isn't required to have workers' comp by law. That's all exempt means. He's not required by law. But if you have anybody stepping on your property to do anything, I suggest they have liability and workers' comp because this lady, they ended up paying over $100,000 claim for this guy.
Oh.
They reimbursed him for his money that he lost at his regular job, plus the trapping. It was bad, really bad.
And just face it, people out there, people can be bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be.
Well, I don't blame. She said she didn't blame the guy, you know, because he had to feed his family, you know, had 3 kids or something and a wife, and you know, had to do what he had to do.
But she shouldn't have been feeding the family, making the car payments, making the mortgage payments, making all that stuff for a year.
Exactly.
Because he was too cheap to have the workman's comp.
Yep.
I mean, even here at the shop, we have the best insurance we can possibly get. We have workman's comp for the employees, everything, and we're not going on anybody's property.
Yep. It's one thing I did want to mention, though, with alligators, real quick. Alligators or trappers are just certain people that do pretty much that's it. It's handled by the state. It's at no cost to you. The number is 1-866-FWC-GATOR, 866-FWC-GATOR. And that's for nuisance alligators. These are for not just if you see a gator, but a gator that is a nuisance, that's aggressive.
I don't want to play with the gators at all.
Nah, I do. It's fun.
But to me, down here, if there's a body of water somewhere, it's not if, it's where is that gator.
Gotta get Mike Reynolds in here one time. We're always looking for employees. We're ever growing. We have a website just for employment. It's work4wildlife.com. A shameless plug. Sorry.
You can put the plug on there. That's not a problem. Hey, people are looking for jobs.
Yeah.
We get people all the time. So this is a good way to make, especially if you don't mind playing with animals.
Yeah. A little construction experience helps. You know, don't have to, but it helps.
The construction would help with how the animals can get into the house, how the houses are built.
Yeah, exclusion, you know, sealing up so they can't get back in and stuff. We're full service. I mean, we do all sorts of stuff like that.
You do what's it, pest control now?
Do pest control. We do bird work. And that was something just real quick that a lot of these gun laws that are out there, the people trying to, you know, stop guns and stuff, it would really affect our business too, because not only we use the traditional guns to do certain jobs and, for euthanasia at times, very slim times, but at times you have to, something is sick or injured. Um, but the chemical, the dart guns, the tranquilizer guns, a lot of those require 4473. Pyrotechnics that we use is governed by ATF for flock dispersal and different things of that sort, hazing. So it's a much broader spectrum, net guns, guns to fire grappling hooks and stuff at times to put something across a pond. All those require a 4473.
That'd be cool to shoot. I haven't shot one of those.
Shotgun.
Well, listen, you have Facebook pages as well, and you have one that you just started recently.
Yep.
That you have a lot of cool tips like this on there that people can go on there and do some research. Like you had a cool tip the other day about what to do if you have bats. Can you describe that real quickly?
Yeah, just real quick. If you wake up and find a bat in your house, the health department now has said that you should be treated like an exposure. So, number one thing, do not get rid of a bat. Call a professional, call someone to come out, get the bat, make sure they keep the bat, and the bat is turned into animal services so it can be euthanized, and then the health department will get it, send it off to Gainesville, and have it tested. If not, then you will be going through a series of shots for rabies because it is an exposure. Their bites are just so small, and their claws are, you won't even notice that you're hit sometimes.
And you just had a call locally for a bat?
Last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you find out how it got into the house?
Yeah, I think it came through the chimney. It was a juvenile bat, and it's presently in Gainesville getting tested.
Really? So you were able to catch it?
Yep.
Quickly?
Yep.
No harm, nothing broken?
Nope. Except for the poor woman. She was pretty freaked out.
Yeah, that would freak me out too, a flying rat in my house.
Yeah.
What was that movie with John Candy, Dan Aykroyd? They were on vacation somewhere in the woods, and they were trying to catch a bat, and they were using everything, and they just destroyed everything. I can't remember what it was. I'll think about it in a couple minutes. But yeah, he has great information on this page. Go check it out. Give him a like.
Yeah.
And follow him. I mean, this is one of these things you got to keep that card, that number in your phone because you never know when it's going to happen.
Yep.
You just call a professional to come out there, or you can, if you've had it happen in the past, you can call him out, and he'll come out and check it out for you and see what's going on, how they're getting in.
We offer free look-sees.
How do we get in touch with you again, Jeff?
Wildlifetrapper.com or 941-729-2103 and Nuisance Wildlife Removal on Facebook, or my newest thing for tips and tricks is Trapper Jeff.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate you coming out tonight and talking with me.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. If you ever have any questions of me, you can get us right through our Facebook page, any of those outlets, right on their website. It's all Talking Guns with Joe. Or you can stop by Aegis Tactical 6 days a week. And guess what? I will most likely be here. And we're right here on Lakewood Ranch off of Lena Road.
Awesome.
All right,
Great place.
Thank you, sir. We'll see everybody next week.